I spent many nights lying in wait until dawn, staring at the walls for an eternity. They stared back and crept closer. I no longer feel any pain, only a warm, flowing blood. It all seems like a dream. Is the war over? Where am I? And where's my equipment? I'm almost naked. I need to get out of here as quickly as possible. But not without a weapon.
Violette's gonna harp about needing a weapon for most of this mission, despite the fact that we still very much so have our knife. Considering the proportion of kills we've made with it compared to any sort of firearm, I'm not sure what has her so concerned. I'd be more worried about finding some clothes, or even just some shoes.
Da vorne! Los, los, los! Hier rüber!
They're coming. I'd better hide in the wardrobe.
That entire company of Nazis just does not know who they're fucking with.
Mir passiert doch sowieso nichts. Hoffentlich kommt bald die ab. Nun schau dir das an.
Klar, das ist einer von denen. Der olle Drecksack.
Er hat sich lieber erschossen, als seine Nutte zu verraten.
Oder sie hat ihn erschossen.
Tja, er wird uns nicht mehr sagen können, wer es war.
Zum Teufel mit ihm. Los, lass uns wieder verschwinden und Meldungen machen.
Erst suchen wir weiter. Hier riecht's so komisch. Wonach riecht das hier?
Ich rieche nichts. Bist du sicher, dass die kleine Nutte hier ist? Die hätte ihn doch sicher nicht einfach so rumliegen lassen.
Ich bin sicher, sie ist hier. Wir haben noch nicht alles abgesucht. Das Blut ist frisch. Sie kann nicht weit sein.
Sei vorsichtig. Ich traue dieser Bande alles zu. Vielleicht ist das eine Falle.
Hast du etwa Angst vor einem Mädchen? Die sind sowas von feige, die Engländer und Franzosen. Tja, lassen ihre Weiber für sich kämpfen.
Hier ist sie jedenfalls nicht. Lass uns weiterschauen.
Ja, besser ist das. Die werden uns die Eier langziehen, wenn wir sie nicht bald finden.
Gut, wenn irgendwas ist, ruf mich.
It might behoove those two to at least be a little frightened of a girl. It looks like the fellow that saved Violette decided to kill himself rather than risk being the only available stabbing target when she woke up. Or...
I needed a weapon, at all costs.
Or Violette's been sleep killing again. Now that we're in real time, and not a flashback, you'll notice a distinct lack of morphine syringes in the lower left corner. Violette has kicked her habit, and we're just gonna have to do things the old-fashioned way. It looks as though this hospital has been abandoned for quite some time, but Violette's in luck. None of the windows have been smashed. The Nazis have wasted no time in populating the entire building upon arrival, and will certainly waste no time in subsequently depopulating it.
Des Attentäters einen Preis geben oder nicht, das Dorf wird ausradiert. Die Brigade Dirlewanger wird das schon machen.
Dirlewanger? Die kommen hierher?
Ja, gestern sollen schon einige Einheiten eingetroffen sein. Wo die sich aufhalten, weiß ich aber nicht.
Wahnsinn! Ist das wirklich wahr? Die Sturmbrigade Dirlewanger?
Überleg mal. Erst wurde Schünzel ermordet und jetzt das Attentat auf Kamm. Da haben sicher Agenten aus London ihre Finger im Spiel.
Hast recht. Die Dirlewanger Truppe hat Erfahrung mit sowas. Die haben in Russland ganze Landstriche entvölkert. Der Mann soll total geisteskrank sein, heißt es.
Ja. Das Hauptamt hat ihn sogar vor Gericht gestellt. Wegen Disziplinlosigkeit und Bestialität. Das muss man sich mal vorstellen.
Naja, wenn die Kacke richtig am Dampfen ist, dann sind sie froh, so eine Truppe zu haben.
Wenn du wüsstest. Seine Leute sind alles versoffene Zuchthäusler und Mörder. Die töten wahllos alles und jeden. Dirlewanger selbst soll mal in einem Zuchthaus gesessen haben. Sogar in einem KZ.
Wie auch immer. Lass uns lieber weiter patrouillieren. Ich habe keine Lust, zu diesen kranken Typen strafversetzt zu werden.
Looks like they're sending Violette a challenge in the form of an entire unit designed specifically to root out partisans. Hopefully they fare better than Com did, but chances are slim. We're gonna have to be doing more whistling than usual this time around as a result of having no morphine to grease the wheels. I can't help but wonder why Violette doesn't take the weapons from the soldiers she's killing. Or at least their shoes. Whistling in the same place brings the next guard rushing in to repeat the mistake of his predecessor. And with them both dead, we are clear. Looping back through the hospital, we come out in a shower room. The entire map seems to be designed to show off their lighting effects, and the areas where you can end up unconcealed can be very random. After killing this soldier, we want to push ahead quickly to catch the next unaware. There's very little margin for error here. The next guard is set up to be an environmental kill. He's standing in a puddle we can electrify, but the timing's all thrown off, and if we'd headed for him, he would have been out of the water by the time we reached the switch. Instead, we'll handle him the proper way and move on. Back into a junk barricaded passageway and across to the opposite end of the room from before, where the troopers were discussing Durlvanga. This looks like the hospital's administration area, and we get the chance to see a new jump animation from Violette. There's a fuse box semi-concealed behind this pillar, and hitting it knocks out the lights in the room, making these three easy targets. Whenever we stop moving, you can see that the dust particles in the air are actually moving in the beams of light, which is kind of a nifty effect. Another room cleared, and the Nazi head count just keeps going down. Pushing this crate will reveal a blocked-off alcove, inside of which we will find a pilot watch and a medkit if we need it. On our way out of the room, there's a rusty key to pick up that we'll be needing later. I'm starting to wonder where Violette is putting all of this, but it certainly shows where her priorities lie. The lighting in this room can make hunting down the single guard here quite difficult, if you wait. If you creep right up on him, there's no such issue. We've found our way outside into a courtyard that is no doubt filled to the brim with defenseless, heavily armed, and soon-to-be-dead Nazis. I'll want to wait until these two guards cross to whistle, otherwise we'll cut out a conversation. That may have been overkill, Violette. You're starting to worry me here.
Das hätte ich nicht gedacht. Und die Knochen und Zähne werden auch zu feiner Asche?
Ja, restlos. Aber nur, wenn man es richtig macht. Das ist eben eine Kunst.
Kaum zu fassen. Aber als Kunst würde ich das ja nicht bezeichnen.
Naja, wie man sieht. Jeder Depp kriegt es jedenfalls nicht hin.
Scheint so. Hauptsache, ich habe da nichts mit zu tun. laufe ich lieber freiwillig ein paar Runden Patrouille. Muss hier noch irgendwo sein. Keine Sorge, wenn die hier aufkreuzt, mache ich kurz einen Prozess.
Well, that guard is entirely certain he can absorb at least 12 knife wounds, but he doesn't know Violette very well. You can see the hospital's chapel in the background here, behind the ruins, and we'll be heading there momentarily. Since it's not directly connected to the main hospital, we should be safe from Violette finding any morphine and relapsing. That leaves only one guard, who's in the far corner, depending on how he's situated. We might be able to head straight for him. Yep, as soon as he turns around, we'll have plenty of time. The lack of morphine here is a bit of a kick in the teeth if you've fully upgraded the stat. Stealth is always the most useful, but I'd suggest morphine second, because if you wait, you're just going to end up wasting upgrade stars. Assuming Violette just put on the pilot watch from earlier, she might just be pinning this Hanseatic cross to the front of her slip for safekeeping and psychological warfare. Onward and into the chapel. The faster we move here, the better. Getting behind the first pew puts us in the perfect position. These two will both move forward almost immediately and stand with their backs to us. You'll notice the grenade on the second guard's belt, but if you try to trigger it, you'll get caught by the other guard whenever he turns. Better just stab the crap out of him. At least they won't have to move either of them far for the funeral. We've got a little hedged-in area over here, and we're going to have to take the smoking Nazi down for the key out. However, taking him down would alert the patrolling soldiers, so he goes under the knife first. He has a very odd stopping point, so in order to get to him, we have to dart forward and attack from the rear.
Junge, Junge. So viel Spannung ist ja kaum auszuhalten.
There we are. With him dead, the other is no problem. He doesn't move. There's the key, along with a harmonica, that I will just assume comes with the headgear to play it without using your hands. That should give Violette the opportunity to play creepy music when she comes up behind someone. We'll wait here until the far guard turns his back, and then we should be free to massacre the crouching fellow. We will toss him inside yonder shed, and then whistle over the patrol. If you whistle too early, you'll catch the other guard instead, but that isn't too much of a problem, as you can use the same tactic for both of them.
Was war das?
So long as you haven't whistled him over, the third guard remains stationary, and a few hops puts you in position to give him a new speed hole. There's a signet ring on the bench here, which is self-explanatory as to where Violette carries it, and then we're free to leap over this completely superfluous velvet rope, and pass by the only logically placed truck in the entire game. I guess the Nazis were in a hurry and didn't have time to build a wall behind it. The benches in the next alcove prevent us from staying in the shadows along this wall, so we have to wait for the soldier on the bridge to turn before we're able to move forward. Now, it's possible to creep up on the bridge and end this guard, but it's much safer to whistle him from the brush here. By whistling in the far corner, and then moving forward into the opposite side, we're able to position ourselves to safely dispatch him. With his body falling into the shadows, there's nothing to stop us from moving forward onto the next. More brush provides cover. If we'd been slightly faster, it would have triggered his next animation. When you approach this guard, he will actually pause and go to relieve himself in the nearby hedge, throwing off his patrol cycle, but making him easy to kill. Adding to Violette's collection of random ways to accessorize her nightgown, we find an Edelweiss badge sitting on the bench. Then out and around to find a much more appropriately marooned Nazi truck. In the distance, you can see our ultimate destination, a very princely and well-built shed. And once we're concealed by the truck, I can move over and slink along the wall to the far bushes. We should be able to catch a quick snippet of conversation there.
Und, was gefunden?
Ja, im Keller habe ich geklaute Waffen gefunden. Das Pack muss zur Resistance gehören. Ist aber keiner mehr da.
Habe ich mir gedacht. Aber die kriegen wir noch. Los, weiter!
Sounds like we've found the weapons Violette thinks she desperately needs. Had I killed the wandering guard back at the truck, we would have missed this conversation, and the other guard would have remained inside. And that leaves only one guard left alive, which would make you wonder why we need weapons in the first place, but fear not, they will come in useful. We're free to run now, no one is going to hear us for the time being, and we will just go ahead and ransack this shed of anything we can use.
Oh yes, that'll hurt.
Now that we're loaded for bear, it's time to turn these Nazis' shed against them. As soon as we set foot in the basement, it spawned a small army of soldiers that will attempt to occupy our shed. And I, for one, will not give in to such shed-based tyranny easily. We've laid our trap, let the Nazis know where we are, now it's just time to adjust the harmonica headpiece and give them a reason to keep filing in. We've got a corpse now, so that should funnel all of them right into our web. There's two. We'll just go ahead and put him closer to the first. Knock, knock. Who's there? Nazi. Nazi who?
Hier liegt eine Leiche. Ist einer
Oh
von
god.
uns?
Nazi knife. No, seriously, wouldn't you be a little suspicious of a pile of corpses?
Diesmal entkommst du mir nicht. Hey, steh auf. Scheiße.
Komm raus, du Sau!
And we'll just add this fella to the pile.
Dirne, zeig dich.
Mein Gott.
Ah, damn, looks like they finally caught on. Well, 4 out of 5 ain't bad, and now it's time to make a break for it. As soon as we step foot outside, the game's gonna start spawning more soldiers, so there's no point in being stealthy here.